Hello everyone, welcome again to another emission. I want to start with a thank you today. And it's a thank you to my collective, to you. And it's a specific thank you to those that are beautifully witnessing the changes that are happening with me, and those changes are presenting us some pretty self-indulgent videos, and I'm just following it because it's moving me through actually layers of self-judgment about how seen I am. So in order to help those perceived barriers dissolve, I'm kind of bringing more of me. And there are a few of you who are letting me know that that's okay, and I absolutely love you for that. Thank you so much. It's really helping a part of me that wants to come out to play. Okay, so that's the first thank you. I so deeply appreciate you. I so deeply appreciate all the souls in my life that are witnessing the changes. Some of which really don't make any sense, but witnessing the changes going on in me personally. Thank you. Thanks so much. And the second thank you is a thank you to new subs. I think we've got a couple of new subs, and forgive me, I'm trying to remember the name. I know the name of one of my recent subs. I did thank them. Beautiful people who work with light language, or working with, they're helping me to bring in my serious connection. And she knows who she is. They know who they are. They're beautiful people. So I'm going to start in a kind of whizzy fashion. It feels like there's a lot to bring, and I know I'm on limited time. But let's see what I can do in the time that I've got. So we've in the energy at the moment, we've got this 8-8 energy, and I was given the word cub, which so beautifully speaks into the energy that we're sitting in. So you may have heard phrases like 8-8 Lion's Gate. But one of my online messengers called it 8-8 Lion's Cub Gate, and suddenly this wheel of synchronicity all came together, you know, like a dream catcher, and all these connecting points just lit up for me, and that's all I needed. He was the key to bring in lots and lots of different disparate parts that I've been holding that just went, right, okay, I get it. So when I have a little peep into the astrology, I'm not doing astrology, but I just want to give you the headlines. So we've got Venus transiting Cancer. That's recently started. That's going on until middle of September with the 8-8 energy. So Venus is, what do I want? Okay. How do I sustain myself? How do I love myself? What's my relationship with love? What's my relationship with money? So, you know, Venus is about material abundance, the home, the feeling good in the home. How do I feel at ease with myself is another question. How do I feel at ease with others? Do I feel at ease with the world, especially in the energy of, you know, this pandemic that's going on? How do I feel about that? Do I feel safe in that? If I do, which part of me feels safe? Does all of me feel safe? So very Venusian and obviously very feminine. We've got Mars to counterbalance that, to give us the fire to make change. Okay, so yeah, what do I want? We're back to that question. We're wrapping up Cancer season, but now we've got Venus activating Cancer, which is water, which is the emotions. So this is going to raise up some of our most sensitive parts, and again, we come back to the 2020, what's your relationship question? And what's my relationship with my most sensitive self? So how do you meet your most sensitive, most fragile, most vulnerable? You know, the crab may have a hard shell, but inside it's very soft. It's very, very soft. So, so the crab has to temper. Remember, I've been using the word temperance an awful lot, of how we temper the heat with the cool, the fire with the water. So the crab has that hard exterior, which it uses to protect the soft interior. And crabs scuttle, you know, so they tend to, and Cancerians generally tend to play their cards close. So again, protecting that really soft vulnerability within them, or protecting something they want to hide, which is cool, you know. So with those two energies, it might feel that life is feeling like a bit of a roller coaster. So hermiting, coming back home, and a little bit of peace and downtime. Again, remember talking about ways to stand the mind down and come into the body and come into the spiritual self and the emotional self, you know, can be a great tool for temperance during the weeks ahead. So we've got a lot of fire coming in, and we've got this Venusian Cancer, which is really going to help pull us right in to those soft parts of ourselves. And this is all happening in Leo season, you know. Leo, I talk about Leo in terms of it being the sun, of course. Leo, sun, solar plexus, masculine creative. And sun is a contraction of the word soul. So we're talking about the fire of the soul, what the soul wants to achieve, express, delight in, delight, Venus. And also Leo is a cat. Okay. So this kind of energy coming in, it does feel very feline. It feels almost aloof and feline. And if you watch a cat, cats kind of live in this permanent state of indifference. They're quite indifferent. You know, dogs are loyal and programmable. You get a dog to roll over and whatever, but can't really with a cat. It's unusual. I've seen it, but it's a very specific training thing. But generally, a cat saunters in when it wants, and it saunters out when it wants. It eats where it wants. Your food may be the best food in the world, but it's probably got 10 other doorsteps that it feeds from. It's indifferent, okay? And when a cat loves, it's probably enjoying it more than it's giving, if I'm honest. Cats are quite selfish. They're beautiful and endearing, and they can, you know, really help us engage with our emotional center. All pets can, but cats largely, they're quite indifferent. They do as they please. And this energy is coming into the system. And go back 5 or 6 videos, I was talking about standing down the people pleaser. I think I used quite a hard phrase actually, to sack the people pleaser. But that, you know, that's here because. And so to help the people pleaser in us to stand down, we've got this beautiful feline energy coming in going, but what do you want? And Venus is backing it up by saying, but what do you want? What kind of home do you want to live in? What kind of walks do you want to take? What kind of adventures do you want to have? What's going to make you feel good in yourself? And we're doing that in a really loving way. This is not a trace of narcissism or self-centeredness, but there's a self-holdingness, a self-lovingness, a self-supportingness. Remember, I talked about injuring my back, and this voice that came in was just wonderful. I think I'm sussing out who the voice is, and I think it's part of me that's being resurrected at the moment. So all begins to make sense. I'm not hanging on to it all making sense. So yeah, it's basically about, if you strip away your external world and then you lean back What's behind you supporting you? What's got your back? Go on, lean in. I've got you. What is that energy? Is that coming from you? Can that come from within? Can you cultivate that? Okay, so the challenge here is being a lion cub. And do I even remember how to play? Or does my emotional, and let's start that again. Do I even remember how to play? And does my emotional confidence and expression hold me back? Okay. Playtime might look a bit abstract and unusual, individual, unique, inventor, magician, all of the aspects of us that became normalized, suppressed. They all have opportunities now. So we're moving from the divergence, remember, that was last month, into the pivot point. And okay, so I've identified the bits of me I'm going to love and let go of. I don't want to take those forwards. And now I'm really leaning into parts of me that I might not really know. Parts of me that feel healthier, more adult, more aligned. Okay, so we're pivoting towards what we want. And with that, we get change. So let me just give you a heads up of what I'm seeing in the collective. There's a lot of, emotional and spiritual change triggers physical change, of course, because everything's connected. So I'm seeing headaches, chronic thirst, joint pain, skin changes, dizziness, indigestion, amnesia. For me, that's been threshold amnesia. Time is bending in weird ways. It seems inconsistent. Personally, I found my glasses in the cutlery drawer. And that's all to bring us into alignment with the work that we did in the identification and the divergence, and the rising up in ourselves into this pivot point. So the realization is bringing us into a new clarity of self and how do I want to play in the world. That's causing shift. Okay, so I had this thought the other day. I think I was talking to somebody about it actually, and it's about if every molecule in my body is moving at every second, every moment of every day, what in me expects stuff to stay the same? What in me is convinced that if I don't feel the same today as I did yesterday, there's something wrong with me? See, this is the commoditization of the emotional self. If you want to understand the emotions, go into nature, watch nature. Okay. We went from 31 degrees to the mid-20s and thunderstorms. That's nature. That's you, honeys. That's you. Do you give yourself permission to be that changeling? Do you give yourself permission to be a bit jarring to others? Because we are nature. And yeah, I'm not saying run around with a dagger because the mood takes you, but because temperance has to be used. Because, well, I don't know why. Could bring in Nietzsche here, but I'm not going to do that. So, being a lion cub and playing in the world. So we are Sun in Leo. Okay, it's Leo season. On the 19th of August, the moon catches up. Okay, so the moon, new moon, beginnings in Leo. So what that's going to do is that's going to show us the emotional learning from this Leonian fire. I want to move, I want to come out my cage for some actually. I feel like I've been in hibernation for so long. I have ideas coming in and I want to get this fire out. The emotions are going to come in and go, wait, what are you creating? Can you name what you're creating? How do you feel about that? Where's your confidence coming from? Okay. And Leo's very loving. Like I say, I've been playing with Leo energy really deeply for the first time in my life this year, and it's very loving and it's very playful and warm. The energy feels really warm to me. So yeah, we've got the emotions now catching up in 9 days time, 9 or 10 days, depending where you are in the world. So there's going to be a call to kind of just sit with that cat, sit with the big cat or the cub that's rising, that wants to play in the world and sit in an emotional way and see what your relationship with that is. Okay, so the sun in Leo is challenging us to stand up and be counted. So here's the hidden self that I keep talking about. So it's fire, it's yang, it's passion, it's movement and action. And then the new moon is going to challenge us. It's going to ask us, but how do you stand up to be counted emotionally? So you can stand up and be counted physically by creating something, you know, and it being met by others, it being an external creation project. But the emotions of stand up and be counted, well, what does that even look like? You know, it's going to look like artistry, creativity. It's going to look like authentic. It's going to look different. And those things might feel jarring for you, might feel unusual or alien in some kind of way, and something might come up to want to tame that, you know. Maybe turn your light down a little bit so the people around you can feel more comfortable. But this big cat is prowling. It's prowling, kind of going, really? Really? That's dog behavior. Be a cat. Be a cat. I'm not saying go out and be cruel, but a certain amount of indifference will help you find your own boots and go and stand in them. Stand up in your own boots. Okay, I'm just going to skim through these notes. The new moon will help rebalance the emotional conviction to fully showing up in the world. It's not about talking a good fight. It's about coming from an emotionally secure, balanced place. And if you know how to saunter indifferently like a cat and play like a child or a cub, then you're definitely on the right track. You know, when you play, I hear this an awful lot from the people that I work with. It's like play is like pudding. It has to be justified. Like if you eat your greens, you get pudding. And that's what's going to be challenged. Really, that's a hardwired programming us. That's going to be challenged. Where do you put play on your list of things to do? Where's play? Leo is going to want us to put it on the top. Put it on the top, because play is the facilitative space to create from void, and that's where we're at. We're creating from void, okay? So we're going to create a thing that we don't really know how to map onto yet. And then that's going to challenge the subconscious, which wants to come in and give you an identifier, a label for it. So all sorts of things are going to come out, be lifted up gently, you know, so that you can have a look at them and sit with them. Okay, so this phase is all about setting yourself free from the constraints on your heart, mind, body, soul. It's about taking the hero stance and standing in your knowing. It's about knowing you were all you came here to be when you were born. You're already enough, more than enough for this world. And all you have to do is remember and then act on it. So you're coming from a very strong place. It's about not waiting to be set free. There are no permission slips needed here. But if you need one, give yourself one. It's time to play. It's time to play. Close the office door. It's time to play. So, and there's a self empowerment going on as well, because we need to give ourselves permission to do these things. We need to do it for ourselves. Come in and be the hero for ourselves. Come in and rescue ourselves if we feel we want rescuing, and allowing the love in that, allowing it with no judgment. Yeah, doing it for yourself and standing in the consequences of your own change, because, you know, change isn't always pretty. Change can be messy. You imagine ripping out a kitchen, chaos, dust everywhere. So I'm going to begin to wrap it up here, but I do want to share something, because one of the things I'm learning, and I'm open to this changing in the next couple of days, is one of the things that I've always kind of turned down a little bit to make other people feel comfortable is my own sensitivity. And so what I've done over this, I don't know, probably for the last 3 months, but really, really intensely for the last few days, is identify that actually my sensitivity is my superpower. Okay. I can no longer see it as something that is judged by others, because that encourages me to hide and to turn it down. My sensitivity allows me to do the work I do, allows me to work remotely with people on an energetic and loving and spiritual level, you know, not just with the mind. Allows me to travel between energetic frequencies, allows me to bridge between worlds and know what I'm working with, know the energies that I'm working with. Allows me to empath, to feel your feelings, the feelings that you might not be able to find the words for. It's super sensitivity. I've had it all my life. And so that's one of my big learnings. I wanted to share that with you because I know some super sensitives out there who are so gifted behind the scenes, but the face that they point at the camera kind of feeds the masses, and they know they've got more to give, and you know who you are. Bring your shyness out. I'll come and play. Send me an invite. I'll come and play. Yeah. I've ended my notes with a question. If pleasing others is no longer a thing, what liberates you? What will liberate you and give you that feeling of personal freedom? Because big picture, that's what's being born, is the personal freedom in the healthy rebalancing of all of our relationships, so that we are no longer indebted to or beholden to through programs of guilt and obligation and responsibility. It's the freeing, it's this personal freedom. Yeah, if people pleasing is no longer a thing, what will liberate you? Wait, pause on that question, see what rises up. Okay, I'm going to leave you plenty of time. Leave you with a card for today. I'm going to have a card for the gifted, sensitive children that are so ready to come and play. These cards aren't generous. I'm sure that felt true. I'll look in a minute. Okay. I just asked if those cards true. No, stop. Check the bottom of the deck. Okay. That baby has no concern at all. It's not worried that others want something for it. It doesn't feel like it's on the clock and it can only have a 20-minute nap. It's resting fully, all systems resting. At the base of a tree, so it's resting and feeding, sharing energy with nature, becoming nature, rooting. And others around it are curious at its ability to rest so deeply, but it rests on in spite of what's looking at it. Just holds its own and just rests on. Renewal of peace. It's the peaceful child. And this really is just, oh, what a beautiful card. This number again, 13. Oh, wow, it's such a divinely feminine, magical, mystical number. Alchemy, transformation, change, growth, ownership, abundance, fecundity. Everything you've desired, everything you ever desire. Wow, that's pouring out of that number. Your right to be free. How amazing. I'm going to leave you there. Oh, wow. Okay, this might be the precursor to the next video. In fact, I'm going to call that the precursor to the next video. But for now, look at the way these cards are coming off the bottom of the deck. Drop back into a pause and be with the renewal of peace. Pause, renew peace. I'm going to leave you with my love. I have to go. Thank you so much for supporting me. Thank you for loving me and holding me. And I hope what I'm bringing is of some use to you. Please drop me a like, sub, share, comment, leave questions, whatever. I love you guys. Take care. I'll see you soon.